Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Funky Cold Medina DIY back again with another video. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please consider subscribing and smash that like button. I really would appreciate it. This will be the final part of a 3-part series on how to fix a flat tire. First part was how to put air in your tire, just to give you another 1, 2, or 3 days, maybe even up to a week. But eventually the tire will have to get fixed. Part 2 was how to lift your vehicle and remove the tire. This part, I'll show you how to fix a flat by removing the foreign object and inserting a plug in it. And I'll show you how to use this tire repair kit. I'll open it up, show you what's inside, and we'll go from there. All right guys, this is the tire repair kit that I'm gonna use. I got this off of Amazon. It has saved me greatly. All my family members have one in their trunk just in case. It's really inexpensive. I think it was about $25. But it'll pay it for itself the first time you use it. This is what comes in the box. These little pliers. These are the tools you use to put the plugs in. These are the plugs here. I added this Allen wrench here so you can tighten up the little tools at the end. And some other little things, a little knife in there to cut the excess plug off. I'll show you how to do all that. And it comes with some instructions. All right guys, we got the tire off. If you're unsure where the leak is coming from, if you don't see anything visible, just spray. You can spray this whole tire with some soapy water. Just a little bit of dish soap and some water, shake it up, and you can spray the entire tire if you can't find where the leak is coming from. You can even also, you can take the cap off here and spray this area, the valve stem. Sometimes that is faulty, and sometimes you'll see air bubbles or something coming up, but it's not leaking, and that can be replaced. So there's nothing leaking there. I do suspect it is coming from a nail, and I believe it's right over here, right there. So that's where the nail is at, and I'll show you what it looks like when you have a leak. See how it's bubbling up right there? So that's where the leak is coming from. It's a real slow leak. It's a real tiny nail, but nevertheless, we need to fix this because it'll be real annoying to keep putting air in this tire. So let's go ahead and fix it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and plug up the tire. Here's the things we're gonna use. These are the two tools. This is gonna thread in the little tire plug right through that hole. This is gonna make the hole bigger so we can put the plug in. This here was also in the kit. I forgot to mention it's just lube, so that way you can put this in there, and it'll be easier to punch a hole in the tire to make it a little bit bigger. And this is just a little knife to cut the excess off of the tire plug once we insert it. And just some needle nose pliers just in case we need to use them. All right, since we got that nail in there, let's see if we can at least try to take it out or poke it through to see if we can remove it. If we can, that'd be great. If not, it's not a big deal. It's starting to come up. All right, so you know, always just use something sharp. It's real tiny, just use something sharp to get in there and dig it out. And then get yourself your needle nose pliers and see if you can grab it. And there we go. That's all that was, just a little bitty nail, the end of a nail. Looks like a little brad nail. Looks like it came from my garage actually. Well, let's go ahead and plug that up. So we got our tool here. We put some lube on it, find the hole, put the tire in between your legs, kind of use your body weight and a twisting motion, and it should go through. And we're making progress right there. Okay, so once it's through, you're good to go. You just need to pull that out, but once you pull it out, a whole bunch of air is gonna come out. So you get your other tool with a little slot for the little slot for the plug, and push that through. It's gonna be a little hard, but just kind of wiggle it in there, and then you'll get your needle nose pliers to help you out and push and pull it through. And just pull it through until you're right in the middle, just like that. All right, so you got that ready to go. And once you pull this out, you're ready to put this in. And it's gonna get kind of loud. So before I pull it out, I'll let you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull this out. This is gonna go in the tire, and about maybe a 1/4 inch of it is gonna stick out of the tire. And that's when we're gonna stop. So let's do it. Find your hole. Again, kind of use your body weight a little bit. Push it through. It's going to take a little force And I'm also trying to be careful not to go all the way through. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. Right there. And now, since you got about a 1/4 inch sticking out, you're gonna go straight up, just like that. You get your blade, open it up, and then just cut the top part of that plug, nice and flush with the tire. If a little bit is sticking out, it eventually could come out because it will just keep rubbing against the road and eventually just slip out. So just try to cut it nice and flush the best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we'll try to do it right. There we go, nice and flush. Forgive me, there's sweat dripping. It's pretty hot out here in the Texas heat. And after you do that, let's check to see if it's leaking. Get your soapy water again, spray it. Any bubbles? Nothing. No leaks. This tire right here is officially fixed, and you just did it yourself. You saved yourself some time, and you saved yourself some money. All right, guys, here's my trusty air compressor that I use. It's just a little 7-gallon compressor from Craftsman. Nothing special about it. I've had it for years, and it's treated me good. Just a little anatomy. Right here's the plug. All you gotta do is just plug it into the wall. Little standard outlet like that. Right here's the switch. Right here. Just turn that on, and it'll the needle will go to its maximum pressure is 125 psi. Right here is the regulator. You regulate the pressure just in case you're using some type of specialized power tool that requires a specific psi. In this case, we don't need to worry about that. But if you needed to adjust the pressure, this little knob here, turn it to the left for less pressure, to the right to go higher. In this case, we don't even worry about it. So all we need to do is just turn it on. It's a little loud, but I'm just gonna turn it on just for a second so you can hear the noise. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and put some air in the tire that we just plugged up. This is the air inflator that goes to the hose to the compressor. Here's the end of the hose of the compressor. Let's go ahead and connect these two. All right, let me show you how to hook up your tire inflator to the hose to your air compressor. So the hose here, this is called a quick connect. You pull this back, and then you can insert the coupling from whatever tool you're using, whether it be an air hose or this tire inflator like we're using. You can insert that into the coupling. Pull the quick connect back, take your tool, in this case our tire inflator, and insert the coupling inside of the quick connect all the way down. And then all you do is now let go of your quick connect, and it's locked in, not going anywhere. To remove it, hold onto your tool and pull the quick connect back, and it comes right out. Whenever you put this on, make sure that this here is called a chuck. Put it directly on the valve stem and nice and flat. You'll know you have it right when you don't hear any air coming out of this this part here. If you don't have it on there right, you're gonna hear this. Air's not going into the tire. Nice and flat. You really shouldn't. You should hear the air going inside the tire. And then we'll check to see the pressure on this gauge here, and we'll get it to 35 psi. And there we are, 35 psi. All right, guys, let's go ahead and put this tire in the car. This is a real common problem that I see people have when they're trying to put the tire back on. They're twisting, they're turning, they look like they're, you know, just doing some kind of new dance, and just struggling big time. I'm like, come on, guys. So let me show you how to do it right. That way you don't have an issue with it. All right, so you get your tire as close as you can to the wheel, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to line up the hose of your tire to one of the threads here on the rotor. So just line up one of your hose there. So put your hands on the bottom and just lift up ever so slightly until you catch one of those threads. And all you're doing now is just pivoting the tire and to match up those threads. And then you're just pushing it through. No problem at all, no effort. Okay, and right there you can just let it rest while you get your lug nuts ready. And since I had them in a pattern, I'm just going to put them back the same way I had it. And I'll just start with one so it can stay in there. And you're just hand tightening them. Alright, so once you got them hand tightened, this is another rule. that you need to follow. Whenever you're tightening these up, don't tighten them in order like this. You have to tighten them in a star pattern. That way the wheel sits flush against the rotor and nice and flat. If you do them in order, there is a possibility where the tire is kind of angled out just a tad and it doesn't sit flush with the wheel. So you want to do them in a star pattern. So just pick a spot and start here. Tighten this up, righty-tighty. Nice and flat. I don't know if you noticed, but the tire did kind of sit flush right there. So now we're going to go on the opposite side, down here, and tighten that up. Now let's go over here. Tighten that up, opposite side. Tighten that one, and we'll tighten the last one. There you go, and that's it. That's how you put the tire back on. That's how you tighten up your lug nuts in a star formation. That way it'll sit flush. So let's go ahead and lower the vehicle, and we'll put the hubcap back on, and we should be done. All right, guys, we got the tire back on. Lug nuts are tightened. Let's go ahead and lower the vehicle. Before we do that, we have to raise the vehicle up just a little bit so we can take off that jack stand. All right, so let's go ahead and raise the car up a little bit just to clear the jack stand, just like that. And on the jack stand, it has this little lever here. So what you'll do is just pull this up and it'll unlock, just like that. And then you can safely remove it. Next thing you want to do, you want to lower the jack stand the way the car can go back to the ground. Before you do that, make sure there's no tools or anything under the tire. Make sure there's no one's fingers, there's not a pet under there, there's no one underneath the vehicle. You know, you just make sure that the whole vehicle is safe, that there's no one in the way. So everything looks clear. So now we can safely lower the vehicle. And since we're going to lower the vehicle, we're going to turn the handle to the left. There you go. And then clear it out, and then you're good. You just lower the vehicle. All right, guys, we're pretty much done. We're going to put the hubcap back on. Before we put the hubcap back on, let's make sure we tighten back our bolts. Just give it one final check, star formation, just like we did earlier. And the hubcap, we're going to put that back on. Before we do, let's put the valve stem cap on. Before you put the hubcap back on, there is a little indentation here where the valve stem goes. So just line that up with that. The hubcaps usually have like these little tabs here. You might have to push it in a little bit to fit inside of your rim. Just like I did right there. And then you should be able to hit it with your fist. It'll go right in. I know this hubcap has seen better days. It doesn't need to be replaced. But we'll just leave it on until it falls off, until we hit that next bump. And then we'll get some new ones. All right, guys, real quick. I've never had an issue using these tire plugs. If installed correctly, they will last the lifetime of the tire itself. I will say, if you were to get a nail or a screw or something anywhere close to the sidewall, I would say probably maybe from this part on, it probably is not going to be repairable. This part of the tire, the rubber here is thinner than the top part, so there's not a whole lot of meat, so to speak, on this part of the tire. And if you were trying to plug it up, one, it would most likely leak, and two, if it did plug it up, you run the risk of having a blowout on the highway or hitting a bump or something. When you hit a bump, this will blow out. So it's not safe to plug this up. So if you do have a hole here, a screw, nail, or something on the sidewall of the tire, your best bet is to get a new tire. You don't want to run the risk of having a blowout on the highway and losing control, having an accident or something. But what we did was right here. It was borderline, but it was good. We checked it for leaks. It's not leaking, so this will last the lifetime of the tire. All right, guys, that's it. That's how you fix a flat tire. It had a little nail in it. We took it out, put a plug in it, put some air in it. I'll show you how to put the tire back on, and you just save yourself some time and money. See you on the next one, guys. Y'all have a great day.